Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah.
Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. That's that popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn world.
There's no mystery. Let's make history with the five. Oh, the song 2 and 3. Add 1 more plus me and be the 5. Yeah, we keep it on the floor. And the funk plus 4 and you got 5. I should go 1 and 9 and there ain't no spread on the 5.
Yo, glad to be here with you tonight with the great Chad Major, a.k.a. Lil Bro, a.k.a. the producer, a.k.a. he's that dude. Lloyd Spence in the building, Mr. Noise. We in here. And we riding just duo tonight. Just the bros. The Noise Bros. That's what we doing tonight. You know what I'm saying?
We the Usos.
We the Ooses. Oos.
What up, Oos?
What up, Oos? But we gonna have a good time tonight. I promise you, we got a good show for y'all tonight.
Facts.
For real out.
Facts.
So I'm excited. Little bro's excited. We gonna do what we do in here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna make it do what it do. So we about to come with the real, and we coming hot off the top right now. We not gonna waste no time with this, y'all. We have a game 6 coming up because game 5 is over. It's over. Game 5 ended, and we found out what was going on. And guess what we found out? What was going on is that it ended exactly the same way the first 4 games ended. It was tight going to the third, and then somebody made a run. Somebody either held somebody off or somebody overtook somebody. That's how every single game has gone on in this series, and this one was no different. I'm going to be honest with you. For about a half a second, I thought the Thunder was in trouble. I said, uh-oh, it's looking a little tight coming down the stretch. But, man, Jalen Williams had a game. He had a day, and they held him off. The Thunder got the win. They get the game 5 advantage. They're up 3-2 with 2 chances to hold off the Pacers and to win the NBA championship. They are sitting in, as they say, the driver's seat. So, with them winning the game, 120-109. Again, the score doesn't really indicate how close the game was throughout, but it was a good game. But with them winning that game, and Jalen Williams having like an incredible day. Like he couldn't have played better if he tried. Low key, he kind of pulled him over the finish line. Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he really, even though he scored, I think he scored. What did he have? He had
31.
31. It was it was an ugly 31. It was an ugly 31. But Jalen Williams had a day. He went 14 to 25, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. He was attacking. He had 9 free throws. Listen, he had a day. He was plus 14 out there in that place. Put up a 40 piece. So now we got a team with 2 chances to close out, one of which being on their own floor if it pushes out to a game 7. But it wasn't a pretty win. And though they held Tyrese Haliburton to no field goals, he was also injured or re-injured, if you want to say it that way. So I don't know what we're really dealing with. He's supposed to be evaluated today or tomorrow. He's going to get an MRI, but he's still getting 2 days rest. So that might help in addition to everything else. They're saying right now it's a calf strain, but they'll see how bad it is. But I don't think they're evaluating it for whether or not he can or cannot play. I think they're evaluating it for the severity and what they'll be able to kind of game plan based on that. It doesn't sound like he's not going to play. But I do have to ask Chad this question. With 2 games left, who's in the driver's seat? Is it the Thunder? Are the Thunder in the driver's seat to close this thing out?
Yes, they're in the driver's seat. They definitely got the much needed win because you don't want to go to Indiana down 3-2 and
right
9-1 at home. So that was probably going to be the end of it right there. So they're definitely in the driver's seat, but it could be a game 7 because, like I said, 9-1 at home. You just have to see what Haliburton can give you. If he can't give you much, the series is over. But if he can,
well, he didn't give him much in this game, and T.J. McConnell was going off, and they almost won the thing.
Yeah.
So is he the answer?
You need a combination of both of those. They need bench and Haliburton. You're not going to win without Haliburton scoring at least 20 to 25.
20 or 25. Wow.
Yeah.
Can you score 20 or 25 on a bum wheel?
You got to get to the free throw line.
How do you get to the free throw line when you can't walk?
He knows how to manipulate it. He can manipulate himself to get to the free throw line. He was a professional. He know how to get to the free throw line.
All right, you say so. I don't know.
You don't think
this is
the line at least get some.
He didn't.
But
he didn't get to the free throw line. I mean, he didn't play. I mean, if you want to talk about from an assist perspective, he played fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I know it says he only got 6 assists, but that's really not, sometimes the assist stat is a deceiving stat because, yeah, he didn't make the play that was the pass right before the shot, but he did set up a lot of guys and make a lot of great plays. So, I wonder.
He has to do both, though. He has to be a playmaker and a scorer, though.
You saying that, but they almost won with him not doing it.
But they didn't win, though.
They didn't win. And you know what the craziest stat of this whole thing is that when they get to 110 points, they win. Or 110 plus, they win. When they don't, they lose. Here they are at 109. They lost. So, I mean, I don't know if that stat is really true or it's just a weird coincidence, but it sure is showing up in this finals. They got to get to 109 to get to where they want to be. So, 110 to get to where they want to be. So, it's very curious to see. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. One, is he going to play at all, which I think he is going to play. I don't think he's not going to play. Yeah. But I agree with you 1,000%. Man, the Thunder set themselves up well because they got two cracks at it, regardless of what happens on Thursday night. I think they got two cracks at it, which they may need both of those to win this thing.
I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
So with him being hurt, should Miles Turner have more of a aggressiveness on offense to
Well,
pick up the slack?
let me say this about Miles Turner, and I think most of us who have watched him play throughout this series could agree with this. I don't think you could get any more out of Miles Turner than you've gotten. He has played about as well as you could play. Now, do you want him to make more shots? Do you wish he'd shoot less threes? Probably. Yeah. But at the same time, he's giving you a lot in this series. He's rebounding. He's making the right passes. He's playing hard on defense. He's giving you everything that he's got. And maybe there is another level that he can get to, and we'll see if he can get to that in Game 6 because they're going to need everybody. It's all hands on deck for Game 6. It's an obvious must-win for Indiana, which doesn't make sense to even say it because in an elimination game, you know there's a must-win for the team that's about to be eliminated. Yeah. But at the same time, it's going to take every man on that Pacers roster, especially if with Tyrese Haliburton not being 100%, and it looks like he's not going to even be close to 100%. It's going to take everybody to go to another level, and one of those people probably has to be Miles Turner. They need Miles Turner to dominate the post in a way that he has not truly dominated the entire series. He's had flashes of it, and they've been good flashes, but they need him to truly dominate the post if they want to win this game outright, and push to a Game 7. Now, funny thing, one thing that I think they discovered in this game that they didn't know they had, and that leads us to question number 2. And I do kind of blame Rick Carlisle for this. So we'll take the first half of the question, who do you blame for the Pacers' loss? Kind of blame Rick Carlisle because Tony Bradley ball, bro. Like, those 12 minutes that they got from Tony Bradley in the fourth quarter, they almost won the game with that. And I'm saying, why did you put this dude in earlier? To offset what Hartenstein was doing, to give a little more pressure on Holmgren. He's clearly stronger than Holmgren, clearly more athletic than Holmgren. He's got that toughness. He wasn't afraid of the moment. Why has this dude been sitting on the bench the whole game? Man, I think that was a miscalculation on Carlisle's part, which is hard to say because Carlisle, I think, has done a masterful job of coaching through this finals despite what he had, with his limitations. But, man, not paying Tony Bradley earlier than Game 5, man, come on. Why did it take so long? Like, I don't understand. He was brilliant.
Yeah, he probably just didn't know what he had and threw him out there, and he did some he did some good things for sure.
But you're not gonna know what you had if you don't play him. Like, you got to put him out there.
Well, now you'll see him play more next game for sure. I think who we blame the sloppy play on Indiana. They had 23 turnovers. 23
and bad ones in the fourth quarter, real bad ones,
resulting in 32 points for OKC. So you're not gonna win with 23 turnovers. So
Tyrese Haliburton had at least 3 of those. I think he had all three of his in the fourth quarter. Them 2 jump spins that he had, or maybe he had 3 jump spins. No, he had 2 jump spins, and then he had just a bad pass trying to get to the corner that got intercepted. But he just did not play an efficient game in that fourth quarter. And part of that could have been the injury in his head, trying to deal with the emotional and mental aspect of that part of the game. But, boy, I agree with you 1,000% on that, man. Those 23 turnovers were really, really bad and brutal in a game that was winnable up until the last maybe 6 or 7 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, really. It was still in contention, like you had an opportunity to win that game. I said
it was within 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, at one point it was within 3 or 4 points. It was really, really close. And so there was I think Indiana beat themselves as much as the Thunder beat them. And to be honest with you, and I know some people are going to say this is sacrilegious, especially people up in Oklahoma or down in Oklahoma. They're going to say, "Oh man, we played a great game." You did, but really, if the Pacers could have found a way to slow down Jalen Williams that night, they'd have won that game.
Yeah.
And they had kind of contained them in that third quarter a little bit, and enough to start making a little bit of a run. And so it just couldn't find the shots to go with the shots that they were making. And then in the fourth quarter, he just started matching them shot for shot, and it just got away from him after a while. But I would have liked to have seen what would have happened had they been able to stop Jalen. And let me say this. That brings us to the second half of that question. I won't be surprised if Indiana wins this game. I'm going to be honest with you. In fact, I think I'm going to predict that Indiana wins this game. I think we're going to get a game 7. I think that Indiana matches up way better with the Thunder than we all thought they did. Though I did pick Thunder at 6, so Indiana will be messing up my prediction if they win this game, which I'm fine with. But I do think Indiana matches up way better than we thought. And I think they're going to play way above their heads in game 6 because they're going to play with a greater sense of desperation. I feel like the Thunder have a propensity to relax a little bit. And if this game is tight and that place is rocking like we think it's going to be, I can see the Thunder going, well, we still got another game in our building. So we ain't why stress about this one? You know what I'm saying?
I think also we got to look at Mathurin didn't have a good game as well. That's one of their key guys.
They needed him to have a good game off the bench.
Need him to have a good game because Haliburton was out and definitely could have offset that. Now I expect for him to have a good game at home because like we always said, all the role players always have comfortable at home. So
yeah,
if they can get this to 7 games, it's a toss up at that.
It can get interesting. It can get really interesting because I think Indiana is not afraid of them at home anymore. That's over with. Yeah. And then I think both teams need everything to go right in a closeout game. And it just comes down to nerves and maturity. And I'm going to say something. A healthy Haliburton last night, I think they win that game. Because he does shoot those shots that he's passing up, that he doesn't want to push off on those long shots on the calf. I think he does take those shots, and I think he hits some of those shots, and it becomes a different game all of a sudden. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in game 6 on Thursday, and can they ride the wave and the momentum and the emotion of that crazed town called Indianapolis and take that with them on the roller coaster ride to a victory. If they can just keep doing what they're doing on SGA and then focus their attention on stopping Jalen Williams, nobody else has really beat them. And so I think if you can just do the things you've been doing on SGA and add on, a way to slow down Jalen Williams, I think we get a game 7. I'm predicting game 7 on the 22nd of June, which is crazy that this series has lasted this long, man. They have really drugged this thing out, boy.
Yeah.
But it's been great, though. It's been a great series. Been one of the best we've seen in quite some time. 2 very, very competitive teams.
We didn't know how
we didn't. We didn't. It looked like on paper it could be good. It's turned out to be better than that. So that is this season. But the offseason, my brother, has begun. And, man, has it begun with a bang. See what I did there? Desmond Bane has been traded to the Orlando Magic in the first big trade, and I mean big trade Not because of the name on the shirt, but because of what the Magic had to trade to get him. And let's run through it quickly, shall we? The Orlando Magic sent Memphis the number 16 pick in this year's draft. It sent the 2026 first round pick, which includes swap rights with Phoenix or Washington Wizards, and it's 28 and 30 unprotected first round picks. So that's 4 unprotected first round picks, and then a top 2 protected pick swap in 2029. Man, 5 picks plus Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Cole Anthony. My little bro, was that too much for Desmond Bane?
I mean, it still got me looking at Nico like.
I'm looking at Nico like
you could have got a whole haul.
I don't understand, bro. Make me understand what happened.
Could have got a whole haul, but I mean, Desmond Bane is a good player. He's gotten better every year. He's carried the team when Ja Morant has been out. So
100%.
They definitely Orlando got definitely a good player, and they Memphis got good role players. I mean, maybe KCP will find his way in the starting lineup again. And like Ja has some shooters, so.
How old is KCP? Keep talking. I want to know. I'm just out of curiosity. I'm trying to remember how old KCP is.
He's probably in his late 30s, I'm thinking. But
keep talking. Yeah. I'll find it. I'll find it. Go ahead.
I mean, it's Cole Anthony. He's a good role player as well. So
solid role player. Solid role player.
Got the first round pick swap. So I mean, you could always count on that to be within the next 15 to 20 range. So I mean, you can get quality players. I think it was a good trade, and Desmond Bane gets out of there and goes to old sunny Florida, man. Orlando's nice this time of year, man.
It is. KCP is 32, by the way. Man, it's a lot. That was a lot. First of all, let me start by saying I'm a Desmond Bane guy. I like Desmond Bane. I think he's good for the culture of your team. I think he's a solid, consistent player. I think he plays both sides of the ball very well. I would like to see his defensive effort go up. I think it was better when the Memphis Grizzlies had my man that's now in Houston now.
Marcus Smart?
No.
Steven Adams.
No. When they had that's part of Steven Adams, but his backcourt, one of his running mates, the not cancer, but he was like an adjutant.
Dylan
you know what I'm talking. Dylan Brooks, yes. When he was I think he was a better defender when Dylan Brooks was there because he took more chances because he knew Dylan was back there to protect him. So I think he was a better defender then with Dylan Brooks and Steven Adams there together. For sure, he was better. But having said that, I am very curious because I feel like the Magic made this trade because they thought that they could get a player that could play both sides of the ball and be an anchor piece for the defensive side of the ball for Orlando. And so that's the part that makes this interesting to me because are they right? That's the question. Are they right? And honestly, I don't know. Here's their starting 5. Here's what they're going to run out there now. They're going to run out there Desmond Bane, Frank Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter, and probably, I guess, Jonathan Isaac, maybe. So is that enough? That's pretty solid.
I mean, no. They were in the playoffs last year. So
they were in the playoffs. They didn't go very far. They weren't very good, but they weren't good because of defense. Exactly. So is Desmond Bane going to make up that much difference? I think his 20 points per game potentially could offset some of the things that you weren't getting with KCP anymore
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, and they could definitely be a better team. Are they a championship team? Probably not, but I don't think. But this might be the first of several moves that they're about to make, so we'll see. But it's a good start. Desmond Bain is a solid piece, I think. So I would give them.
They definitely
They,
got
def-
younger.
they definitely got younger. They got a better shooter in Bain. Bain is a much better shooter than KCP is. And dare I say a better shooter than Cole Anthony is. So I like the trade. I don't know if it's enough to make that much of a difference, but it's a solid trade. I just think they gave up a lot, man. 5 number ones is a lot. And it does make you look at Nico kind of sideways a little bit, like, fam, what? But to me, what Nico did is that he may have overvalued Anthony Davis, and I don't know, and that I don't know, and I'm saying that as a full-fledged Laker fan.
Yeah.
Is Anthony Davis better than Luka? I don't think so.
A healthy Anthony Davis. I don't. That's the thing.
That's the question. But see, that's just it. We've only seen now the one time that we saw a completely healthy Anthony Davis for an entire year, they won a championship. So is that a fair trade? Is that a fair swap?
Yeah.
Time will tell. We'll see.
So I got a question now. So
Go ahead.
On the other end of that, Memphis looks like they're gonna tear it down. Looks like because they trade away one of their best pieces.
So that brings us to question. We're staying in the NBA stuff, and we'll keep calling it the Desmond Bain effect. So you said, is Memphis tearing it down? Now, publicly they have stated, their GM has stated, they are not tearing it down. What they're doing is clearing cap space so that they can re-sign Jared Jackson Jr. and John Morant to long-term extensions. That is what he has said publicly. What I heard in my ear was, listen, we're going to give them a price that we think we want to re-sign them to. They're probably going to reject that, and then we're open for business, but don't come to us with no BS offers.
Gotcha.
That's what I heard.
Gotcha.
Because neither one of those guys are going to get the max. They're not eligible for Supermax. So now we're talking about $200 million contracts if that's what Memphis thinks they're valued at. But here's the other side of the coin. Memphis ain't stupid. They know that both John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., you can get a haul for both of those guys. So look what they just got for Bain. And with all due respect, Bain ain't Jaren Jackson Jr. and he ain't John Morant.
Yeah.
He was a solid third wheel on that team. So if you try to trade the other two pieces, or at least one of those two pieces, you ought to be able to get a lot of nice pieces for that. So I think they're going to lowball Ja, they're going to lowball JJ, and then take their chances and see what happens. That's what I think. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think they should move on.
You think what now?
I think both of them should move on. I think they should facilitate trades for both of them,
For both players?
for both players, because
Really? Wow.
it just hasn't worked. It worked earlier, but all this Ja and his baggage and everything, I think, a lot of times you just need a change of scenery.
You wouldn't try to keep one of them? You wouldn't. So I'm going to speak strictly from the Memphis side. I think it is clear what I want as a Laker fan, so I won't even talk about that.
Yeah.
But from the Memphis side, I don't know if I would be so quick to get rid of Jaren Jackson Jr. John Morant, I can understand.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson Jr., I don't know.
He's not problematic, so you don't necessarily have to get rid of him. He can be a good anchor for your defense and be a good leader, but you have to bring in somebody. He's not going to be your number one. He's going to be a nice number two. You have to bring in somebody on John Morant's level to be a number one.
I think I would reach out and try to see what is out there and just try to see what's out there. Just to see. Because I think there's some stuff out there that you could do creatively that could really make some things interesting. For example, as I've stated on this here podcast before, I think you call Denver and you say, "Hey Denver, what are you doing? You guys busy?" I heard y'all were having some Jamal Murray issues. You know, altitude sometimes affects attitude.
Why would
Maybe we could swap guys. You give us your guy, we give you our guy.
but it's just like having Russell Westbrook back on your squad.
Nah.
Yeah,
With Joker, because it's Joker squad. And Joker ain't gonna have it. So Joker and you don't think Joker and Ja Morant is a nice pairing, bro?
I think it's the same thing you just saw with Russell Westbrook. I think it's the same type of player,
No,
high energy player. But I don't,
younger.
I don't know. I don't see it. I
See,
don't
I
see
like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Cause
if
see, I'm on the record as saying I think Memphis needs to hire Mike Malone
mhm.
and then go get Jamal Murray and Michael Porter. Maybe you could do a swap all the way across the board.
I
We
don't think
swap.
it's a spot
We'll
because
take your two. You give us your. Give us. We give you our two. You take our. You take our two.
you know weed is legal in Colorado, right?
It is, but which means he ain't gonna get in trouble.
He,
He
he
can
don't,
smoke. He can smoke till his heart's content.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I was
I hear the
thinking more.
strip clubs ain't as nice in Colorado either.
Probably not. Probably not.
So I'm saying.
Yeah, I got a place for him to go. I think that it's gonna be
What's that?
Memphis
Well,
like.
say that one for a minute because we gonna get to that in a minute. But I do think Memphis is not done yet. I think that story is still yet to be told, and we're gonna get back to it in a minute. But we're gonna come back to it in a second because there's another thing that has gone down in the last couple of days, and all this KD talk. Your guy, KD,
He'll be
he
in Texas.
said, he said, man, I want to go either to San Antonio, Houston, or Minnesota. And then he came out and said, no, I was just playing about Minnesota.
He said,
But I do, and I was kind of playing about Houston too. And that helped him. That helped because Houston said they don't want him.
mhm.
And then he said, what I really want to do is go to San Antonio. And San Antonio's like, nah, we good on that. We good over here in the West. So where is he going? Before we even get to where he's going, is it the price? Is Phoenix price too high?
We don't know what they want.
Yes, we do.
What?
They want players.
Okay.
They want players that can be plugged in to play right now, and they want picks. They want players and picks. And so, and I'm sure they want number ones. So the question I have for you is, Desmond Bain got 4 number ones, 5 number ones, and he don't have half the resume that KD has. Now he is more than half his age,
that accounts for something.
and by age I mean his NBA age, not his actual age, y'all.
Yeah, it counts for something. But I would give up Jalen Green.
Stop. I
Dylan,
don't. You know what? We gonna stop this conversation right now. For a 37-year-old dude,
yeah, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks,
oh my God.
and some picks. And
For a
some
37-year-old dude,
that they want him that bad, yeah.
they already said they don't want him that bad. It ain't even been an option.
I think it's a smoke screen. I think it's a smoke screen. I think they're trying to just have people get off the tail, but they if half the league would want KD at some point.
Apparently not. Ain't nobody stepped up to make an offer.
Draft night ain't
I
here.
think the price is too high. Think about this.
Yeah, they want him, but yeah, like the price is too high. So that I'm sure they want him, but they're not gonna pay Kings ransom either at 37 years old.
We're not paying no Desmond Bain prices for a 37-year-old dude. The Knicks said absolutely not.
No. A lot of people want him, but they don't not gonna pay the price to try to get him for his age.
Everybody wants him, but nobody wants to pay that price. There's not a woman on earth that don't want a Louis Vuitton bag. They just don't want to pay the price of a Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That dude is expensive. That's a high price, bro. That's a high price.
You got to find a desperate team.
They want multiple picks and multiple players.
And
Who is okay? So to your point, who is that desperate? The Knicks were 2 games away from the NBA Finals. Do you think they should be pulling the trigger on that?
I think that they should stay where they are. I don't think him being the age he is going to get them over the hump. I think they need to go in a different direction.
I agree. I don't think he is. I don't think he is the short or long term answer for what they're trying to do. Not at that price, because you're not getting out of that deal without giving up Karl Anthony Towns and maybe 1 or 2 other players and some picks. That's too expensive.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the East is wide open next year. It's wide open. It's anybody's East. But still, that's a lot to pay for one dude. So I wouldn't do it if I'm the Knicks. I don't do that deal. Is there anybody else in the East that you think should do that deal? I've heard Detroit's name mentioned.
Detroit.
But why would you do that if you Detroit? If you Detroit, you are almost essentially the OKC Thunder. You made the playoffs in your first year under JB Bickerstaff. You made the playoffs and you did well. You're moving in the right direction.
If I'm the Suns, I'm going to get Jaylen Brown. They have players over there in Boston that Phoenix can poach from.
I'll say this. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. And I'm going to tell you why. If you're Boston, do you really want to tank a year with Jason being out? And you paying 2 dudes $300 million.
$300 million.
You take Jaylen Brown and flip-flop those contracts, and now you just cut $150 million off your budget, your long-term budget, because now you only got to pay KD maybe another $120 for 2 years, and that's off your books permanently. So from a financial perspective and from a competitive perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
And that's what the teams look for, financial and competitive. So
you have to. So in the East, you think it's Boston. I like that. I like that a lot.
Because you said it's a weaker East, so why not? You guys are close. Why not just put that person in there and stay at the top of the East?
Now, you do that. You can't pay KD and Jrue Holiday, and maybe not even Derek White.
Well, they're talking about getting rid of those guys anyway.
I'm just saying you got to make you got to make some choices on that. But KD with the rest of that roster, and you're gonna lose probably Al Horford, but you're gonna lose him anyway.
Yeah, probably gonna
KD might not be a bad stopgap. And then when Jason gets healthy, if KD can survive this year healthy and having that load put him on him for 1 year, if he can survive that year healthy, it's not a bad tandem going into the next year.
It's not.
It's not a bad tandem. So I don't hate that in the East. What about in the West though? You keep saying Jalen Green. I don't love gutting Houston for.
Well, I mean, he really didn't do anything. So
because if you're Phoenix, you don't want Dylan Brooks.
I mean, they don't know no better, so they might want him.
I think
poorly ran organization. So
they are, but they're not. I'm assuming they're not a stupid organization. I'm assuming that they're not a stupid organization, and they understand that doesn't make them better. In fact, that might be a trigger to Devin Booker saying, I'm out. You traded KD for Dylan Brooks, I'm out.
In
So
the West, I think it'll be a homecoming either way.
here we go. I was just wondering how long it was going to take you to get here.
Go
ahead.
Either it's going to be Cam's idea or OKC because they're going to win the championship.
No.
We seen it happen. We seen it happen before.
It's not going to happen. They one game away from the NBA championship.
Or he can go back to the Bay and he can do a little swan song, you know.
For who?
Oh, we got to start with Jonathan Kuminga first.
Okay, and it's going to have to be an and.
Gary Payton II.
Wow, you just going to throw Gary Payton under the bus?
Gary Payton II.
Wow.
He's a free agent, so or expiring contract, so yeah. Probably Moses Moody and probably some picks.
So you said Gary Payton, Kuminga, and Moses Moody,
yeah,
who finally had his breakout season.
Yeah, why not trade him when his stock is high?
For KD for 2 years.
That's the only 2 years Steph probably got, and and Jimmy probably got. So
and Draymond,
yeah. So might as well try to get it within these 2 years and see what happens.
I mean, I don't hate it. I just wonder if KD gonna want to do that again. Because now the narrative will be he couldn't win without Steph. But my thing is, did nobody win without somebody?
Yeah, so
I don't understand why that's a big deal. Kobe didn't win without Shaq. He won with Pau Gasol.
I mean, he won.
You know what I'm saying?
He won with Steph, but he still got 2 MVP trophies. So I don't know what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand he's got to do it on his own thing. Nobody does it on their own. Giannis didn't do it on his own. He had help. Now, was he the dominant force on that team? Yeah. But he had a lot of help. So I don't know. I don't hate that either. In fact, I think that is probably the most logical thing that I probably have heard. That makes a lot of sense for him to do that and finish up what they started. Try to get one more as they walk out the door.
Yeah. What do you think about it? What do you think he's gonna do?
Oh man. Well, I think Phoenix is gonna have to lower the price, and I think the price is gonna have to come down on the amount of picks that you get. It's going to have to be players over picks. So that's why I like your trade more than I've heard, like anyone that I've heard. Now, there's some other squads that could do exactly what Phoenix wants. It depends on how selfish Phoenix wants to be. If they want to get real selfish, then the logical call to make is to Utah. I mean, Utah got all the picks, and they got all the players. So, and they got the type of players that could keep Phoenix relevant this year. If they could get Walker Kessler, if they could get Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler with Devin Booker, that's a nice little squad right there. So that's the type of trade that Phoenix should be looking at. They won't do that though. They won't look over at Portland and look at Scoot Henderson and players like that. They won't look that way like they should. So then there's another one out there that I've been saying all along, called New Orleans.
Katie don't want to go to New Orleans, man.
He don't, but this ain't about him. If it's Phoenix, you got to do what's best for your organization. And he's 37, and ain't a lot of options out there. So what I would say to him, listen, here are the teams that have come to us with offers that make the most sense for us. Of these teams, which one of these teams are you the most happy with? And if he says none, and we like, man, I hate that for you, but we go pick the one that's best for us based on that. If he say none, that's fine. You don't have to like any of these offers, but we gonna pick one of these teams and we gonna trade Joe behind away to one of these teams because we got to do what's best. We got to fix our organization where it's broken, and it's really broken right now. So there's another one that's interesting to me too, in the East that you forgot.
In the East.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't if you're gonna have Giannis stay there, why don't you bring KD on?
Giannis in Milwaukee,
Yeah, bring KD on there.
they ain't got the money. They ain't got the money for that. There's no way to make that money work. But there is a place you can make a swap and make the money work in the East.
What would that be?
Philadelphia, I'm looking right at you.
Oh man, they tried to make moves and it's just hasn't materialized. I don't think.
Listen, Philadelphia with Embiid coming over to Phoenix.
He's
And
never
then-
available. He's never available.
Okay, but you got to do something. It would be Embiid and all the picks that you can get for Philly, which is what you need right now. So you get the picks that Philly's got. Try to move up in the draft, steal you some players, and when healthy, you got a hell of a 1-2 punch in Booker and Embiid.
That's a big asterisk. When
I agree. But if you're Phoenix, you got to swing for the fences in a way that makes sense for you. And I don't know if there is. I don't. All the trades that I've been hearing are ones that benefit Phoenix. They don't benefit the other teams at all. And I know you're saying, well, yeah, but KD on San Antonio would be great. Yeah, but it would just be 3 players. It'd be KD, De'Aaron Fox, and Wemby. Because if you're Phoenix, I'm not doing that deal without getting Castle. I'm not doing that deal without getting Vaselli. I'm not doing that deal without getting Keldon Johnson. I'm not doing that, and I'm getting your picks.
Yeah.
So it's got to make sense for both sides. And I don't think it makes sense for Phoenix to do a deal like that with a team that's really not desperate to do a deal like that. Houston should not be desperate to do a deal like that. Houston, y'all young. Y'all got all the players in the world. Y'all are young. Just chill. Y'all moving in the right direction. If you make some other moves, y'all be right where you want to be. But I think KD, I hate to say it. Man, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. But Golden State is in a far more desperate state to make a deal than anybody else because of the timeline that they've already established.
Yeah.
And they don't have a backup plan beyond. They don't have a backup player. They don't have their future on the roster. And so maybe they're not worried about that right now. And maybe they're just saying we want to win right now. We want to get this done right now. Let's get it done right now. So if that's the case, then go ahead and get KD. KD, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, Steph should be enough to get you to something. I mean,
they almost got to the conference finals with no hip injury. Almost got to the conference finals.
Because even if Steph gets hurt again, it would take Steph, Jimmy, and KD getting hurt for that team not to make it to the Western Conference Finals. So I think I might pull the trigger on that if I'm Golden State. So you might have talked me into it. All right. Speaking of Giannis, you brought him up.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing to me how opposite Giannis and KD are? Giannis don't say nothing in the media. He has not released the Giannis update is that there is no update. That I hear that it's more likely that they want to keep him than they want to uh, trade him off, but they want to keep him and see what happens. I don't know if that is plausible at this point in the game because, quite honestly, they just I don't know. I don't know if it's plausible, but I'll say this: the Giannis price to me makes more sense for the teams that we talked about than the KD price because of the age, because of the productivity, because you're going to get more than a year or two. You're going to get 5-6 years out of Giannis. That makes way more sense to me than the KD price. So if I'm the Knicks, and I think I got a shot on the Giannis thing, then that's the way I'm going. I'm not trying to do the KD deal. I'm trying to do a Giannis deal.
The Knicks, you uncertainty with the head coach because you don't know that head coaching thing is kind of tricky because everybody's declining, being requested to talk to their coaches. So you don't know who you're going to get as coach at this point.
Do you do you think it matters?
To him, I think
Uh,
so. To him, I think so. You want to be able to play for a coach that that you're comfortable with, especially going to
well,
a new.
there is a coach that he won with that's out there,
Who was that?
Budenholzer.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah, true,
I'm just saying,
true.
if you're going after Giannis and you're looking for his comfortability, there you go.
That'd be a good start. Be a good start for sure.
Giannis for Carl Anthony.
I would try to keep. I would try to keep
You
him in.
try obviously you try to keep him if you can,
I
but
would. You might have to
it,
go hard.
ooh
You might have to go hard.
ooh,
OG
I'm okay with that.
and it's like some other picks. Maybe yeah, you might have to do
You can
that.
have all these picks, player. You can have as many picks as you want. Line them picks up for Giannis.
I would keep Towns just off of matchups and stuff like
You would
that.
try, but I don't know if I would kill the deal to save Towns. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I mean, but I don't think he's going anywhere, and nobody really. Who wants to go to Milwaukee? I mean, I don't
Nobody wants to go to Milwaukee. That's why you got to trade. That's why you got to do a solid trade if you're Milwaukee. You got to get a haul
know. He just needs.
for him.
He just need to recruit better. That's all.
Nah, ain't no recruiting a Milwaukee player. You know that. That's like trying to recruit to Utah. Ain't no recruiting to Utah. Man, our Mormon community is so dope, bro. No, that's not.
I heard they
It's
go
not a,
crazy.
it's
I heard
not a
they go
selling
crazy.
point.
I heard
It's
they
not a
go
selling
crazy up
point.
there.
Crazy where?
In Utah, I heard they go crazy, man.
They do go crazy, but not the kind you like. No, I'm not doing that. I wouldn't do that. So the final question in the NBA offseason, name the one sneaky big trade that will be pulled off. Who do you think was going to pull it off?
If the KD thing does not materialize,
I don't know if that's a sneaky big trade though. Like we know everybody's going after KD, so I don't know anything related to KD is going to be a big trade.
well, it could be somebody that we're not mentioning that goes from. But I think the sneaky trade will be, like you said, Utah should be open for business. I got two sneaky trades.
Okay,
Utah should be open for business, and we're gonna have Laurie Markkinen go to Golden State.
everybody can't go to Golden State.
Everybody's not going to Golden State.
You
Just
can't
look.
get Laurie Marketing and KD.
I said if KD thing didn't pan out,
Oh, this
one or
guy.
the other, one or the other. So that's one. My second one
This guy is a
is
homer of monumental proportion.
is if somebody wants to let go of Ja, if they want to let go of Ja,
Okay.
send them to Charlotte for Lamelo Ball. Lamelo Ball throwing lobs to Triple J.
It's not bad.
and it's less
That's not bad.
problematic. Less problematic.
Yeah. Ironically, it is. LaMelo Ball is actually a solid. He just can't stay healthy. That's the only problem with LaMelo. He's not healthy all the time. But
Yeah.
I like him as a player there with Triple J. I do like that. Fast first point guard that can score.
Yeah.
So I do like that. My sneaky big trade, because I'm gonna answer the question as it is asked. The sneaky big trade will be pulled off. I think it's going to be the Lakers.
Oh, here we go.
Yes. But I don't think it's going to be what people think it's going to be.
Okay, what's it gonna be then?
I think they're center hunting and they're trying to find the best long-term answer that they can find. And so I think they're sitting in a room with a board up and Jaren Jackson Jr.'s name is at the top of that board. But they know that's a long shot.
Mm.
So then you got to start moving your way down the board and seeing what's out there. And the one name that never gets talked about that's out there is DeAndre Ayton. I can see the Lakers pulling off a DeAndre Ayton trade to bring him in to pair him with Luka long term and make a run for next year's NBA championship, LeBron's probably last year, and then see what happens. But I think they're going to swing for the fence to see if they can get a center that can compete in the West. And I think they know they got to go get somebody who can help them compete right now. And there's only a few names on that list. That's one of the names on the list.
What's the deal look like?
Uh,
Give up for him.
That's the question. Obviously, Danny Ainge loves picks, so maybe you can convince him to take a bunch of picks.
You don't have to give up anybody major like Austin Reeves, nothing like that. You should.
I don't think so, but I don't know. Because they got Austin Reeves up there. They got those positions covered. So you might just be looking at a lot of long-term picks, Dalton Connect, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's why that trade makes a lot of sense. Now, there's another one that Cam is not going to like when he hears it. I'm just telling you, he ain't going to like it.
Okay.
But it's out there. And it's a possibility. Zion Williamson to Los Angeles.
You thought he had a weight problem before.
Well, maybe. Maybe.
If he gets with Brian, he should be.
Well, with Bron and Luka, because think about it. The one guy that can relate to his weight problem more than anybody else would be on his squad, and that's Luka.
Yeah.
And when he comes back and sees Luka at his age, which is close to his age, and he's in shape, and then he sees LeBron and he's in shape, now all of a sudden.
Hey man, Fat Burger is very good. I'm just saying.
Fat Burger is amazing. There's a lot of, in fact, there's a lot of great eating places in Los Angeles.
Maybe.
But if you're an eater, there's a lot of great eating places everywhere. The eating ain't the problem I'm nervous about with having him in LA. That's the least of our problems.
And then the women too?
That's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem.
That's the big problem.
Can he come to LA and discipline himself enough to lock in and stay focused? But here's the thing. And by the way, I'm not advocating for this at all. I just wanted to throw out a sneaky big trade. That would be a very sneaky big trade. That would be a NBA rocking level trade. Like it would be Luka-esque. Zion Williamson in LA would be Luka-esque. Not for talent, not because of the talent, but just for the fact that the LA swung for that fence.
Man, yeah.
But if they could get him to control himself and control his weight,
It's a big ask in LA, buddy.
that's a nice big three right there.
Yeah.
That solves a lot of problems. Because then now you ain't got to go spend money on a center. Because now you got a viable rebounder that can go get you buckets and boards and all that stuff. And then you can just go get a Clint Capella or a center that ain't going to cost you hardly no money. Yeah. You can just go, yeah. So that's why you pull a Zion Williamson trade. Because it solves a lot of other problems without having to go spend money on a big center.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Hassan Whiteside? What happened to he didn't
have any upside. See what I did there?
Man, where's the
not he just never panned out. After he got his money, he never panned out.
Man,
some guys don't take it to another level after they get their bread. They got their bread and they're good. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're good. So I think Hassan Whiteside was that kind of guy. He's like, I got my check. I took care of my family. I'm good. I don't want nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't have no delusions of anything else, so I'm good. All right. We want to try a brand new segment before we go leave the NBA. And it's an interesting one, and it started by our intern, Everett. Shout out to Everett. And we're calling it Intern Everett Disagrees. And so intern Everett saw something that he disagreed with. Not necessarily, it could be from us sometimes, could be something he saw in the national media, could be something he saw in one of the games. I don't know what it is, but we'll watch it, what intern Everett disagrees with, and we'll respond. So here's intern Everett with what he disagrees with.
Welcome to Everett Disagrees, the part of the show where I tell you why you are wrong. The topic of discussion today is the lineup change that the Oklahoma City Thunder have been going back and forth on. Of course, everybody knows to start the series, they changed up their lineup. They've been going with the entire season, the entire playoffs. They inserted Cason Wallace in place of Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, I'm here to tell you that Cason Wallace was not the problem. The lineup of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren has played 40 minutes in this series with an 11.8 net rating and 103.5 defensive rating. While the too big lineup that everybody clamored for, that said, why'd you go away from it, has only played 14 minutes for a reason, with only a 5.5 net rating and 130 defensive rating. The reason I believe Mark Daigneault went back to the too big lineup to start out the game is simply to go back to his old rotations, because he wanted to play Alex Caruso more. He wanted to have one big on the floor at all times, so he went back to the starting lineup, start the game. But they only played 5 minutes in Game 5, and they've only played 14 minutes throughout the entire series. Mark Daigneault is not going to go back to Cason Wallace starting, but that was not the problem. The problem in Game 1, remember, when they gave up the lead, was when they went with no big. Chet was off the floor. Remember who got the offensive rebounds was Pascal Siakam. It was not the Thunder. Everybody, I think, can agree their best lineup was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. That 5-man lineup is what they ended up closing games with. When they took out Isaiah Hartenstein at the beginning of the game, who came in? Alex Caruso. Cason Wallace starting was not a problem.
There it is. Shout out to intern Everett.
Shout out.
I don't disagree with anything he said with that. I think you could argue he won't win it, but you could argue Alex Caruso has played MVP level basketball in this series.
He knows what it takes, so
he knows what it takes.
So yeah, he knows what it look like. So
he's definitely played championship ball. He's looked really, really good. Yeah, Cason Wallace wasn't ready for this moment. He was not ready. He has not been ready for this moment. And so I don't disagree with intern Everett. So shout out to intern Everett. That was actually a really good take.
Yeah, it was. And I mean Hartenstein, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the big body being in the lineup, because Indiana has no Siakam and Toppin and guys like that, Miles Turner. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it, because I mean, you definitely need big body in there, because Chet doesn't always do the dirty work and no rebounds and stuff like that. So you need somebody in there to do the dirty work. So I mean,
I'll say this: as much as I agree that the lineup change didn't work. You might need some of it in this next game if Haliburton is not 100%, and they have to lean on Miles Turner to do more.
Yeah.
Then I can see them. I can see them saying, "Man, we're gonna have to figure something out here." So I don't know. I'm curious to see how that's gonna unfold right there.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it all depends on that injury. I mean, I probably woke up with a calf strain myself today, so I don't know.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Break
Let's
it
move on.
man.
Let's move on to question 4. I guess we're at question 4. And question 4 is just some NFL stuff. So you just getting into some NFL stuff, if y'all don't mind. Let us talk our NFL stuff. JJ McCarthy will be what?
QB1. He'll be QB1. He's had a season of looking on the sidelines, seeing what it looks like. Seeing the game speed of the game, and he's got viable wide receivers over there, running backs. So tight end. So I think he'll be fine.
You say he'll be QB1? Okay. I think JJ McCarthy will be about the same.
What does that mean?
They got a lot of weapons in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So as long as there'll be a learning curve for him, but similar to year one with Jaden Daniels, there's a lot of things that you don't know about JJ McCarthy yet. There's a lot of things you don't know he can or cannot do, and it's going to take a while for NFL teams to catch up to what his abilities are and what his tendencies are, what his tails are. And until they catch up with him, he'll be fine. He'll be solid. So he'll be about the same as Sam Darnold, and they'll probably get as far as they got. Like they'll probably compete in the NFC North for a playoff position. They'll probably make the playoffs. They'll probably be out first, second round.
You say, yeah.
Yeah, so about the same. The Browns quarterback room is insane.
It's crowded.
It's insane right now. It's like, why are you carrying this many quarterbacks? I feel like I'm your boy from ATL. Why are there so many flies? Like there's just a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
A lot. Why do you need 5 quarterbacks?
Who gets cut? Who makes the cut?
I don't know if anybody gets cut as much as maybe somebody gets traded.
Okay.
And I think if I'm the Browns and I'm using a really smart strategy, I got 2 young quarterbacks who nobody really understands or knows what they can or can't do yet. I try to make them shine as much as I can so that if I need to use one of them as trade bait, I can. And so I think they would hope that Dylan Brooks plays well enough to get traded, but you might end up having to trade Kenny Pickett. I think Shadour's going to make the roster. I think Joe Flacco's probably going to start. I think if Shadour gets the opportunity that I think he deserves, then he'll come in as the number 2 ultimately, and then Kenny Pickett will be number 3, and Dylan will be the outside man. He'll be on the outside looking in.
Are they going to cut Deshaun or what? What's
well, Deshaun's not going to play until if he plays at all this season, and I think by the time he gets ready to qualify to play, it may be too late.
So
I don't think you
go ahead and trade him, or
you can't trade him to who?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, who wants to listen? I'm not gonna put no massage policies into my my building just to satisfy this dude. I'm not worried. I'm not doing none of that.
I mean, yeah.
I just think Deshaun Watson's time in the NFL. Excuse me. I think Deshaun Watson's. I got a new microphone. I gotta get used to the mute button. Did it work that time?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. I think Deshaun Watson's time in the NFL is coming to a close. much like a Baptist preacher on Sunday morning, they are hastening to a close.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a matter of time. So I think it's insane. That's my word. What's yours?
Crowded. I think, like you said, I think Joe Flacco's going to start the season. But I could see Shador being the backup and finishing the season. Like you said, I don't know if they'll carry 3 or 4 quarterbacks. If they carry three, I see Dylan Gabriel being the third quarterback. And like you said, Kenny Pickett, going elsewhere. There's still some backup opportunities that he'll probably be good for. But yeah, if Joe Flacco goes down, which he can go down because he's not the youngest quarterback in the
He's
league.
45 years old.
So I mean, it's a good
He's
chance.
53 years old.
It's a good chance for Shador to go ahead and Tony Romo the situation and start his NFL career.
Stay ready and you ain't gotta get ready. There you go.
Sure.
Offensive Rookie of the Year is probably going to be.
Ashton Genty.
I don't even know if we need to even discuss this. From what I'm hearing, coming out of the Raiders OTAs already, they are so impressed with Ashton Genty. And the number one thing they're impressed about it, they said, man, the kid is so coachable. And he understands the assignment, he understands what he's there to do. I think Ashton Genty is going to be the runaway Rookie of the Year. I don't think it's going to be Cam Ward. I don't think it's going to be any of the receivers. I don't think there's a receiver that is breakout enough in year one to break through like a Malik Neighbors did last year or like any other receivers did last year. I think they're all pretty average. So I think Ashton Genty's the guy because he's going to get a lot of carries and he's going to have a lot of opportunities to prove himself. So I agree with you on that. The Cowboys reset is
it's refreshing, man. I've heard
refreshing.
It's refreshing. I've heard a lot of things coming from the star that Schottenheimer is a player's coach, and the guys are really gravitating to what he's saying, and a lot of things. It's a different feel that they say is going on in the in the star. So I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, he's a player's coach, which that's always what when I talk to players that they like that aspect. Somebody being a player's coach. So he came from a long line of his daddy was the Marty Schottenheimer. So I'm gonna give him a shot, man. I'm gonna give him a shot and see where this goes.
The Cowboys reset is more of the same. Nothing has changed. It's the same old situation.
How you
It's
know
the
nothing
same-
has changed?
Because it never does.
Are you
It
talking
never
about on the field?
does.
You talking about on the field or off the field?
Yes. The answer to that question is yes.
Off the field, I could get with you, but on the field,
It's not going to be any different. It's going to be exactly the same as it has always been. You know why? Because it's always been like this. It's never going to be any different. As long as Jerry Jones is the owner of that team, this is the Cowboys. This is who they are. This is what they're going to be. Nothing's changed. It's more the same.
we shall see.
I would like for us to grade the quarterback plan for the following teams, if you don't mind, sir.
Sure.
So let's take a look at the teams. The Falcons. Do you like what they've done with their quarterback plan so far? I think they get a solid C minus.
So they got Michael Penix as starter.
Yep.
Still have Kirk Cousins over there.
And they paid too much money for that backup. You don't need to pay that much money for a backup. Trade that man and get some picks for him, or get some players for him, some depth, or on your defensive side of the ball, which is where you need it. Why are we wasting time with stop? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. I mean, he's got weapons around him. He should be fine.
I think he's fine on the offensive side, but they need a defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I give him a solid C minus. What do you give him?
Quarterback situation, I'm gonna go C plus. C plus.
All right, you generous. You feeling generous today, I see.
A little
The
bit.
Jets They're starting Justin Fields as their QB1. What are your thoughts of their quarterback playing? Isn't it Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor? Is that who it is? Keep talking. I'll
Justin
look it
Fields,
up.
I like it because he already has a rapport with his number one wide receiver. So
That part is true. That part is true.
that always helps in a situation where you go to a new spot where you already know some of the personnel. So I'm gonna give it a C. Give it a C.
Yeah, it is Tyrod Taylor. I will say, yeah, I'll give it a C plus too. I want to see with Justin. I'm curious to see because I'm confident in Aaron Glenn's ability to give him an offense that he can master and to play to his strengths. Now, and he's got a running back in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. So they got receivers. They got everything for Justin Fields to be successful. There's really no more excuse for Justin Fields.
Facts.
So I'm going to give it a C as well. Shout out to Pastor Court. The Jets with Justin will be better than last year.
Should be.
That's not hard to do though. Like
Should be.
they're pretty awful last year. So I agree with you. I agree with you, Pastor. They will be better. Let's go to Seattle. What you grading Seattle?
Okay, we got who's the quote? Sam Darnold,
They're-
right?
Sam Darnold is their guy. He doesn't have nearly the weapons in Seattle that he had in Minnesota. Totally different system.
So he's got Njigba.
He went from throwing to Justin Jefferson and what's the young boy they had?
Addison. Jordan.
Addison. Yeah, Jordan Addison. To now he's throwing to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Well, he got Cooper Kupp and Marquise Valdez-Scantling.
I mean, we don't know what Cooper Kupp gonna look like coming back from injury.
Plus,
But-
a lot colder. It's a lot colder in Seattle than it is in Los Angeles.
I'm gonna have to get that a C too. I'm gonna have to give it a C because he had a good year last year, but like you said, he had good personnel, so I would probably
There are some interesting pieces there, and I think the offensive line is solid enough. But it's a different atmosphere. And ain't no dome, player. Ain't no dome. Ain't no dome. I can't stress that to you enough. That it ain't no dome. It's different than Minnesota. Minnesota got a dome. Ain't no weather issues.
yeah.
And for at least 10 games a year, you're not dealing with weather. If you Sam Darnold. So you playing 8 games at home and 2 in Detroit. Ain't no weather. So now you got weather. Cold, rainy weather. It's going to be interesting to see. And now you got Jalen Milroy, the young boy, breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a C as well. I don't know if I love that.
Yeah.
The Browns, we grading hard in this room today.
Yeah.
The Browns quarterback situation.
If Flacco's starting,
Stop playing.
I'm giving it a C. But
Stop playing.
At the end of the day, if Shador is gonna make his way on the field, I'll give it a B.
Can you stop playing? It's a D right now. The way they've handled it is a D. It's a D. Because you got nothing but total confusion. And you carrying $250 million for no reason.
That's an F.
It's not good right now. Right. It's not
That's an F.
It's not good right now. But we're going to see now. It has the potential to at least become a C and maybe more depending on if Shador can take the job and run with it, and
Exactly.
it could be something great. But boy, it's awful right now. It's awful.
I say it's an F because one of those picks you didn't need, the Dylan Gabriel pick you didn't need. You could have just drafted Shador at that spot or whatever. But I feel like you have too many quarterbacks in the room, and you wasted.
That's why I called it insane earlier.
You wasted that pick, so I'm gonna give it an F right now.
That's why I called it insane earlier. Listen. It's a mess right now, but I can't say much because the final one is Giants.
I'm gonna let Browns retake the test and
yeah, let them retake the test at the end of the semester. My Giants, man.
I'll let you go first on this one.
So I'm also gonna give them a C. Like, I don't know. Do we have two quality backups in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? Yes. But do we have a legit starter in Jackson Dart? No, he's not ready. So
yeah. C is appropriate.
If we're talking about the quarterback plan, right now it doesn't look great. Now we'll see what happens, because I think the quarterback plan was rooted in how the defense is going to look. And I do think the defense is going to look a lot better. Because I think the big thing that they're working on right now is finding a way to put Carter, Burns, and Thibodeau all on the field together in several different, packages. So if you have that, plus they boosted up the secondary with some great corners and DBs. So now, if you can get that pressure up front now with those three, and with Dexter anchoring the whole thing, you might have a solid defense that can make some noise. And then you're not asking any of those quarterbacks to do a whole lot at that point. If those quarterbacks can get you 17 to 21 points, you might be able to steal some games.
But can they?
Can who? Those quarterbacks?
Can they? Can they though? Can they?
I said if. I said if. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know.
Would you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Would you be opposed to having Tracy at running back, but then having a Scatterball in the field in some capacity? Like maybe.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Listen, the formula for the Giants to win is low scoring, 17 to 21 point games. Hold the defense holds the teams down to under 17 points a game. That's the formula. That's how they're going to have to win. I don't think we're equipped to get in the shootout with anybody, but I think we got good enough receivers, and our quarterbacks can be solid enough to make enough receivers to make enough plays. And then I think between Tracy and Scatterbo, you can ball control enough to keep teams off the field. And that's what you got. That's how we're going to have to win games. It's got to be kind of ugly, kind of boring football, but if it results in the wins, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I said if on the point total. I didn't, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying that's kind of what you're going to have to do. Which brings me to a very interesting true or false question, sir. True or false? Trey Hendrickson is worth more to the Bengals than TJ Watts is to the Steelers.
False.
Okay. Tell me why.
TJ Watt, former Defensive Player of the Year. He has been about top of the sack leaders for the last couple of years. Even though Hendrickson did get the title within 23 and 24, but I feel like TJ Watt is a franchise player. Hendricks is a good player, but is he a franchise player?
Yes, on the defensive side, yes.
As more than TJ Watt, I don't think so. I think
okay, I knew you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say this.
Yeah, I think TJ Watt is generational, and I think he. And
you don't think Trey Hendrickson is generational?
I think he's a very good player. but I don't think
Okay.
he's better than. I don't think he's better than T.J. Watt.
Okay. From week 12, from week 1 to week 12 to the bye week, really week 13, the Cincinnati Bengals lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. 8 out of 13 games. They were 4-8 because they had the bye week. They lost 8 games. You want to know how much the totals of those games were? By New England, they lost by 6. By Kansas City, they lost by 1. By Washington, they lost by 5. By Baltimore Ravens, they lost by 3 in overtime and then lost again to them later by 1 point.
That's more offense than defense.
Oh, no, I knew you would say that. But here's the problem. Against Kansas City, they put up 25. Against Washington, they put up 33. Against Baltimore, they put up 38. And then the second time they played Baltimore, they put up 34. Against Los Angeles, they put up 27. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they put up 38. It's not the offensive problem. It's the defensive problem. And the one thing that kept them in the games, at least a little bit on defense, was Trey Hendrickson. I'm just saying, they already got defensive problems right now. You lose Trey Hendrickson, and I think you're picking in the top 5 next year. Because your offense isn't good enough, and it's been proven to win you games because you're not winning shootouts. You're not winning these shootouts.
Definitely.
So I'm just saying, I think they got to figure out something on how they're going to stop some people. And if they can't stop some people and figure that part of what they do out, they're not going to be any better this year than they were last year. So I had to really put some thought into that question because I was like, no, I was with you. No, T.J. Watt is. But then I started thinking about what happened last year, and I'm like, well, no, they can't afford to lose Trey Hendrickson because they already got a bad defense. It's going to get far worse if they lose him.
Yeah.
So I think they got to solve that problem. All right, we're starting something new tonight, and I don't know. We may just keep it for the summer. We'll see. But I like it. I think I like where it's headed. We call it the final 5 questions. All right, so let's go through the final 5 real quick here. J.J. Spahn's win at the U.S. Open was
gritty, very gritty because those conditions were not great. That was a very tough golf course. Those guys played.
Oakmont is a monster.
Yeah, for him to hit that 64-foot putt though, that was awesome.
Well, but here's the thing. This is what people need to understand because a lot of you probably didn't even watch the U.S. Open on Sunday, and I did. I like the U.S. Open because I love that it humanizes these golfers and makes them more like us. So I love it, and I'm a big fan of it. But let me tell you something. J.J. Spahn had one of the most brutal rounds of golf I've ever witnessed in my life. Yeah. His first 5 holes, or first 9 holes, were about as bad as you could have. Yeah, and his second hole,
4 over, right?
Yeah, it was like 4 over. And his second hole, oh my God, his second hole, where he hit the flag, and then the ball proceeded to roll some 30 yards off the green. I was like, fam, you can't hit a shot worse than that. You can't hit a shot worse than that. It'd have been nice if it just bounced off the pole and then rolled into the grass nearby. No, it curved around the green and rolled off the green. It was his worst, bad. But the fact that brother stuck it out and kept on fighting and kept on grinding and everybody's gonna talk about the 64-footer on 18. But let us not also remember I think it was like that looked like maybe a 14 to 20 footer on 17 too. He birdied 17 as well, and that's what set up the shot on 16 to win. On 18 to win. And man,
sometimes those are the hardest putts to hit too.
The shorter ones like that. Those are the harder ones because the pressure's there and your heart's beating and you right there within reach. He was right there. And all he had to do was two-putt the 18. All he had to do was two-putt it. But my man was like, nah, we going to end this right now. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. The best thing that happened to his Sunday was that rain. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If the conditions had stayed the way they were with that fast green like it was, he was not adjusting to that well. It was tanking that. I think he would have lost. I think he was on his way to a collapse. He was gonna finish somewhere between 6 and 8 under par. It was going bad for him. And then that rain delay came and softened up them greens. And ironically, he was really the only one that adjusted to it. Like everybody else never really adjusted to it. He adjusted to it. And he started hitting some good shots down the stretch. But shout out to JJ Spahn for winning an improbable. My word is improbable. Speaking of improbable, Gage Woods, no-hitter. And ironically, Arkansas is playing right now. They're up 3-0 in the bottom of the 6th against UCLA. But that no-hitter was improbable. Striking out 19 batters.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So I gotta give Arkansas the shout out for real, man. Because that was crazy.
That's crazy. That
was crazy.
19.
19? I thought it was a typo when I saw that. I was like,
yeah.
You got 19 strikeouts? God, dog.
Now I've seen a no-hitter in person. Kenny Rogers when he pitched his no-hitter, I was there.
You was in the building.
I was in the building, and so
nice.
That's a great feat. 19, though. 19.
19 is a lot, fam.
It's a lot.
Here, let me put it in perspective for people so you can understand. A perfect game is 27 outs. He struck out 19 people.
That's a lot.
He almost had a perfect game. Like that was a hell of a night. And the one guy he hit, he immediately corrected that on the umpire immediately corrected it because he was like, nah, you stuck your elbow in. By the way, I think that happened again today in the Louisville game.
Oh, really?
Where the guy stuck his elbow out and took the hit, and they said, nah, fam, you're doing that on purpose. I had never seen that before. You don't normally see that.
It happens.
Guys, yeah, it happens, but I just don't see it a lot. But yeah, that's wild. But anyway, shout out to Gage Wood, man, on a no-hitter. And looked like Arkansas might push this thing on over into playing tomorrow as well. All right, true or false? And I need you to hear the question. I need you to hear the question when I ask it. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are the biggest stars in the WNBA. I'm not saying they're the best players.
False.
I'm saying they're the biggest stars.
Okay, well, stars.
Caitlin Clark didn't play for a week, almost a week and a half. Came back and almost got a 3 rating this past weekend when they beat the Liberty. And then Angel Reese wasn't far behind her. That's on Sunday when she got her triple-double, her first triple-double. I'm saying they might be the biggest stars right now in the WNBA.
So I'm gonna take this to viewership.
Okay.
When Caitlin Clark debuted this year, they had 2.1 million views.
I'm just saying, bro.
And when she came back from her,
who did she debut with?
It was Chicago, right?
It was Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. Okay. So when she came back from her injury, they had 2.8 million views.
I'm just saying, bro.
So viewership, which matters, I would say yes.
I think they're the biggest stars in the WNBA. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. The commercials don't lie. The social media, look at the social media impressions. They don't lie. Angel Reese is trending. Every time she do something, she's trending. Whether it's good or bad, she's trending. Caitlin Clark is trending. I'm just saying. No. I think, now, are they the best 2 players? No, not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all. Exactly. But are they the biggest stars? Absolutely. Yeah. They are box office must-see. And apparently America agrees with us.
I can get with that. Yeah. So,
All right.
Since you phrase it like that, yes.
And that's why I put it in quotes. So you can see it. All right. Who will be the next? We're about to see either the Thunder or Indiana win their first ever franchise championship. Well, technically Indiana won like some ABA championship, but first NBA championship.
Yeah.
Of all the leagues, who's going to be the next first ever franchise champion of their professional sports league? You can pick anybody you want from any professional league.
The Detroit Lions.
Ooh. That's a solid pick, bro. But I'm going to have to disagree with you for one reason and one reason only.
Why is that?
Because I think they might have missed their window.
Think so?
No Ben, no Aaron. I got to see it first. I got to see.
I mean,
I got to see what.
No Patrick. It could possibly be no Patrick. It just depends.
I just got to see what it looked like without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. And if they can match, if they don't drop off, then maybe you might be right. But I just got to see it first. I got to see it first. So I went with the NFL as well. Mm-hmm. My first pick was the Buffalo Bills because I just find it hard to believe that Josh Allen is going to finish his career without a ring.
Well,
that's hard
for. He got one.
Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills?
He got a wedding ring.
He does have a wedding ring. He won that prize. He did win that prize. Shout out to Josh for winning that prize.
You got a ring.
But I just don't know if he's going to win. It's hard for me to fathom that dude's not going to win at least one Super Bowl. But it's possible. Because he in the worst possible conference he could be. If he went over to the NFC, then I'd say he probably going to get one. Because if he went to the NFC right now, he'd be the best quarterback in the NFC.
Facts.
But the problem is, he in the AFC, and it's crowded. It's crowded over there. So I went on the NFL tip. I went Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
That's a good pick.
On the NBA tip, I'm going to have this first ever. Ooh. That's tough.
I mean, one of the teams is playing right now. It's okay.
So whichever one loses, do you think the other one will get back?
Depends on a lot of things, like contracts. Now, because people always drop off whenever there's a championship won. So
it's more likely. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
I think it'll be harder for probably Indiana. Maybe it'll be harder for Indiana to get back. Their pieces are not as young as OKC.
They're pretty young.
Not all of them.
They're pretty young. I mean,
not as young as OKC.
I think they are. I think they are. Hold on. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it.
These pieces are younger, but I could.
No, they definitely are. No. LKCs are definitely younger for sure. So I don't want to. I'm not saying that. No. I'm saying the core of Indiana is Haliburton at 25, Mathurin at 22.
Okay.
Nembhard is 25. Nesmith at 25. Siakam's 31, so he's a little bit older. Yeah. Toppin at 27. So they're relatively young. I'll say this. I think it's easier for Indiana to get back than it is for OKC to get back.
Why do you say that?
Because I think the West is always going to be tougher. Sure. For a while. I think the West is always going to be tougher. Sure. So I would say one of the teams, whoever loses, one of them getting back is more likely than it is the other.
How do you say that now?
Yeah. Major League Baseball. I don't know. First ever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have the Rays ever won it? The Rays have never won it, have they?
Mm-mm.
But do I see them winning it?
No.
I mean, they balling right now. They are balling right now. First ever.
Yeah.
It's a small list. We're talking the Rays. We're talking. Have the Guardians won it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Indians won it. Cleveland Indians won it once.
I mean, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot what they were
Right.
doing.
I had to remember that they were the Indians at one time.
I feel like the Rockies won it.
The Rockies. Did the Rockies win it once? Check that for me. I don't know. I feel like the Rockies won it once. No, they lost to. I think they lost. I don't know. But the Rockies ain't going to win it no time soon, though. They're not going to be the next one to win it. I think the most likely candidate is probably the Rays. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Last question. If you could run a professional sports league or a sports entertainment league, which one would you want to run and why? As we saw today, the CEO of golf just is stepping down. Is he stepping down immediately or at the end of the year? Or I think when is he stepping down? It's coming quickly. I know that. But Monahan, he's leaving in 26. So he'll stop being a commissioner. So if there was a league you could run, Chad, which one would you want to run?
If I could run a league,
Yeah.
I'll go with the NFL.
Really? Why? Why the NFL?
Because
Because you make owners leave early so you could have your Cowboys be good again?
I'll make an age limit. Age limit.
Ownership age limit is coming.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that it would be pretty. You have your hands in a lot. The draft looks pretty fun. Go up there, guys go up there and give you a big bear hug and everything. So,
Right.
I think it'd just be fun to go to the games and around the country and all kind of stuff and just try to make the game better, man. Try to bring back the celebrations. Celebrations need to be brought back. I need the grandiose celebrations back. That made NFL fun.
Yeah. Low key, I kind of want to run PGA because I was like, that'd be a dope thing to go play golf for free everywhere. And then once you're a commissioner, you probably get into every game everywhere free, so it don't even matter. So I get to go to fly all over the country to the best golf courses on earth. So that'd be and it seems like it's a low maintenance running of the league. Like it don't seem like it's hard to run the PGA. But also, I wouldn't mind running NBA. But also, I think it'd be fun to run the WWE.
Yeah, because I don't like it right
But
now.
they work too hard, though.
I don't like it right now. I don't like what's going
The
on.
WWE?
I don't
Why? What's wrong with it?
It's just boring. It's boring, bro. It's boring.
No.
I don't like the John Cena retirement tour. Trash.
I love that. I think it's great.
His retirement tour is trash.
No, it's great. It's great. It's fantastic.
It's trash. Them giving Roman Reigns part time.
They got it. Listen, they can't listen. Roman Reigns. First of all, what you're not gonna do is come on this here program that we both built together and trash Roman Reigns.
I'm not
doing that.
I'm not.
No,
saying
you
that.
said you don't like it.
I'm
You
not
can't-
saying the amount of time off, but I understand.
He's earned it. He carried it for 4 years.
He wants to be with his family. I understand, but
That man carried them for 4 years on his back with blood, sweat, and tears. Made them must-see TV. Made them a quadrillionaire company.
Yeah, and I don't have to must see it right now. I could just wait until when.
Wow.
That's the thing. I don't. It's not a fever pitch anymore. So.
No, it's not right now. It's not right now. There's kind of a transitional type thing going on. Yeah. But you knew that was going to happen with the John Cena tour. So they got John. They tried to give John his time. And in the middle of giving him his time, they gave Roman some time off, which is great. So Roman gets some time to kind of regroup or whatever. And then he'll come back fresh, ready to go, fresh to death, like $1 million. Rock had the little heart thing. We just shout out to The Rock. Want to give him his love because he had a little heart thing, so he had to take some time off. So we was all wondering how come he didn't get involved. That's why, because he had the little heart situation. So, he'll be back better than ever. So, yeah, we just need to chill. Sometimes you got to just chill and let,
they screwed my Oos, man. They screwed my Oos, Jay.
Not really though, because I think he's about to beat Cody on some interference type stuff on Friday night. Whenever they do the next little, they wrestle, or Monday night, I think it's Monday night, they'll wrestle for the King of the Ring, so he'll probably win that. And then he'll get Gunther in New York, SummerSlam. And then he get his belt back, and then all is well. I think they just tried to put some stakes up for Goldberg to have. You know what I'm saying? And then I think there's some issues with the Usos being able to go out of town to Saudi Arabia, I think. So I don't think he can travel like that.
Yeah.
So just give him a little patience, man. Listen, I trust Triple H. If Triple H say this is what we doing, this is what we doing. So I ain't tripping. I believe in Triple H. I believe in Triple H. I trust. So there you go. So. You mad? You big mad too, ain't you?
We'll see, man. We'll see.
You big mad. I can hear it in your voice, bro. I can hear it in your voice.
We'll see if your tone will be changing in a couple months. Let's see.
It might. I ain't gonna hold you. It might, but I don't think so. I trust Triple H, man. First of all, Naomi is killing it. She is killing it. To me, right now, she's the must-see TV. Cause she's in her bag right now. I love the new character. I love that they put the money in the bank in her hands. So I just need her to go and snatch that up off Tiffany Stratton once and for all. Make that, cause that ain't even working. EO or Tiffany's not working. They're not ready. They're not ready yet. Like I get it, Trip, and I trust you, bro. But at the same time, I don't feel like they're ready yet. Like they're not interesting enough yet. So let's keep some of these OGs with the belt for a minute, and then let's bring the new guys up that way. Let them challenge, you know what I'm saying? And then we got something to look at. Right now, I don't feel like we got nothing to look at. You know what I mean? By the way, sending thoughts to The Rock, sending thoughts to Liv Morgan, tore up her shoulder. I hate to see that. And, so I want to send some love out to them in the healing process or whatever. And then I want to send out some love. I'm going to give my shout outs now. I want to send out some love to my family for giving me this week-long Father's Day celebration that we in. I got a gift on Friday, got a gift on Saturday, got a family showdown on Sunday. I got a gift today, got a gift yesterday. I'm debuting a new shirt tomorrow on Pressing Pros, and whenever we do Pressing Pros, so tune in for that. It's dope. So they're just spoiling the brother. They spoiling the brother. They really making me feel like I'm doing something right as a father. So shout out to the fam bam for that. Yeah. Shout out to the girls for cooking a magnificent dinner for Pops on Sunday. It was outstanding.
What'd you have?
I'm an Italian guy, so they fixed me a little spaghetti and meatballs, some deep dish pizza. So I was in heaven. Yeah, I was in heaven. They hooked it up. Chips off the old block. So they did their thing. I was proud of them.
No Tums involved, huh?
No Tums involved. The brother was Tumless. They did their thing. So shout out to them. I do want to send a melancholy, pardon the interruption. I want to send a melancholy happy trails and a very shocking one. I don't know if you watch the Food Network. I'm a big Food Network guy.
Yes, sir.
And there's a young lady on there that was the chef for one of the cool shows, dope shows, Worst Cooks in America. But also she guested in like every show that was on there, much like most of their guys do. They make the rounds in the building or whatever. But her name was Ann Burrell, Chef Ann Burrell, and she passed today, shockingly. And she left behind her husband and son. I didn't even know she was married. I was like, really? I didn't know she was married. But yeah, Ann Burrell passed. So a very gut-punching loss to the network. I'm sure they are reeling over that. No details have been released as it relates to her passing, but a very, very tragic loss for the network for sure. And then my final shout outs to Glorilla, man. Shout out to Glorilla, man, for winning the Bobby Jones inspirational for winning the Bobby Jones inspirational gospel song of the year while wearing some assless chaps. That's a feat right there, bro. That's a feat.
I would have been more impressed if she would have won a Stella Award.
It ain't off the table, bro. Like, it might not be off the table. I think the Stellas, they've announced who their nominees are. I don't know if she made the cut, but she won a BET award. More people know the BET award than they know the Stella Award. So most people don't even know when the Stella Awards even airs. So I'm giving shout out to Glorilla, man. I know y'all mad. I know gospel music big mad right now. They big mad. But she hooked up Waggy to the Kirk Franklin train, and Kirk gonna win these awards, fam. He gonna win them.
Facts.
So that's just what it is. All right, who you shouting at, bro?
Man, first, like I said, shouting out the family, man. They did your boy right on Father's Day as well. Got me this nice little dad gang hat.
I like that. Dad gang.
Yes, sir. And man, got me a nice little Traeger grill, man.
I saw that, little bro. That look good.
I'm about to be grilling, man.
Yeah, man. Well, see, they just put you to work. So you gotta be careful with them gifts like that. They kind of,
Yeah, man, for sure.
She kind of got you a little bit, but it's cool. Yeah. It's something you like though. So
yeah, for sure. And shout out to the Love family and our niece Harley, who had a birthday.
Happy
birthday, Harley, and
the big foe.
Yeah, showing love to the Love family for sure. But that's all my shout. And then shout out to the new NBA champions. And
whoever they're gonna be.
I think it's gonna be Oklahoma City, man.
It might be. We'll see.
Gonna parade in your city.
it might be. We'll see. We'll know by Sunday. By the time we come back on the air Monday, we'll know who the champ is. So there you go.
Yes, sir.
We'll know who the champ is. We will have decided. So there you go. Always shout out to Killer Cam and Byron Lusby and Reggie Love. We appreciate everybody, man. We just love doing the 5 for y'all. And shout out to intern Everett, who's doing a great job. Appreciate him. Oh, shout out to the fam band with the new microphone. I love the new microphone. Looks good. Sounds good. I think I sound good. Sound better. So love that. Feeling that. So there you go. And we'll do it all over next week, y'all. We'll be back. It's gonna be a fun summer. We're gonna have some fun this summer, y'all. Real talk. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about for sure. As you can see, there ain't gonna be no dull moments this summer. So
I got one more shout out.
Do it, brother.
Shout out to Black Renaissance for this shirt. It's
okay. That's a new one, huh?
Yeah. Black Renaissance, for the Tupac and the Biggie shirt.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Supporting black brands over here, man.
Always keep it black. Keep it black. There you go. All right. We love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Keep rocking with us. We'll keep rocking with y'all. It's the 5. Y'all see what we did. Y'all see how we killed that. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Appreciate the rewatch game. Love each and every one of y'all. Man, we out this piece.
Get you 10, way up bugging in with the vibe. There's no mystery. Let's make history with the vibe. Oh, the strongest 2 and 3. Add 1 more plus me and do the vibe. Yeah. Keep it on the floor. And the funk plus 4 and you got 5. I said for 1 and 9 is 10. And there ain't no span on the 5. The 5. There's no denying it.